And tonight, we're going to talk about the Massillon Street Department. Stay tuned. And we're live, coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere in Northeast Ohio. I'm O'Malley of O'Malley's Adventure. That's Tim Ortiz, your friendly neighborhood street department operator, maintenance mechanic. And we're going to talk about the street department in Massillon and snow removal. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. And I want to set some ground rules as far as the discussion this evening. We're not going to bash. We're not going to talk bad about people. We're not going to insult people. We're not going to do anything remotely stupid. We're going to explain to you how the department works from the time we get called and how we proceed to go out and do snow removal and treat for snow and ice. But first, we're going to start light. We got a small little problem with Tim's makeup. Apparently, she was late, so...
Yeah. But, you know, I don't really think I need any makeup. How can you get any more prettier than me?
Tim doesn't understand yet that I'm the best-looking guy in the department.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So...
It just depends on who's looking.
Right. Okay. So, here's how things generally play out, right? Everybody that comes out, that's called out, has a section. My section, for instance, is the Northwest, and I have from the top of the viaduct out to 93, from Maine all the way over to Worcester, and with the exception of parts of Kenyon. I think the dead end out there is Miami, but I have Lanedale, Sipple Reserve, Kenyon Creek, all of that. The other sections would be the Southwest, which would be from Maine heading south, and from the viaduct west. And then the Southeast is fairly large. It's split between the Southeast and Northeast with Lincoln Way from the river out, basically. And then there's a downtown route and an inner belt route that are kind of set right beside each other. So
yeah, the inner belt would be the boundaries of the inner belt would be Lincoln Way to Lake and First Street to 241.
right.
It's a nice square grid.
Right. So basically the way it breaks down, you have the 21 route, you have the Northwest, the Southwest, inner belt, downtown, outer Northeast, and Southeast. There should be 7 routes, right?
Correct.
So that's the way that it's designed as of right now. But in the near future, hopefully,
Yeah.
there's going to be some restructuring of the routes, because the way it works out is you have 6 trucks on the east side of town and you have 2 trucks on the west side of town. And with the Northwest gaining as much as they have,
Yeah, it's huge.
it covers some real estate.
I mean, I actually measured Lincoln Way from 27th Street east to 93, which you take care of Lincoln Way from 6th Street at the top of the viaduct to 93.
Right.
I mean, I know it's 6.4 miles from 27th Street east to 93. I'd have to say that it's at least half of that.
Right.
Good 3 mile.
Also, as people come in and settle into the live stream, leave your questions in the live chat area, because at the end we're going to try to answer as many questions as we can, and have some interaction back and forth. If the show goes as well as we think that it's going to go. Starting next week, I'll have the ability to take phone calls here, and you'll be able to call in live and talk to us in person. That way we don't have to read through all the comments. It would be much faster. So with that being said, I think understanding that when we back to what I was saying, when we do snow and ice, we do hills and mains, and we don't stop doing hills and mains until the snow stops. I mean, there's not really a way around it. You have to keep the hills and mains clear.
Yes.
So why don't you give us a for instance as far as the southeast and how you leave the shop and how you go about going through your route?
Well, I mean, a lot of people, if you do know or don't know, I mean, our shop is located at 401 Walnut Road, which is the building right next between the tracks and the Mass Boys Club. Once I get to the shop, I get my truck, get it loaded up with salt if I didn't already, and I leave the shop. I head east on Walnut. I travel over.
Hold on, the stream went down again. It's back up.
Anyways, I'll travel east on Walnut, cross over 21, at which point I'll turn on my salt spreader or I'll drop my plow, and I head up Walnut until I hit Richfield Drive, and I take Richfield Drive all the way until I get to 30, which I'll turn around, make that trip all the way back to Walnut, and then I usually go down 16th Street past Franklin School, which is the main because of the school. I get to the end of 16th where it runs into Forest. I'll turn around there, take that all the way to get back on 16th to the other side, go down Hess Boulevard to Lincoln Way, which at one point, if we're just salting, I'll take a right up Lincoln Way and hit the dead end of 16th Street Hill. It's really bad. It's really steep. I try to take care of that hill right away. I come back down the hill, and then I'll do Tremont. Once I'm on Tremont, I'll head up Bluff. I mean, I know this is getting tedious, but I mean, I'm trying to go through this, give you an idea of the route that I've set up.
About how fast are you going?
Well, I mean, that depends on how much snow, whether I can see how bad the roads are. I mean, I don't want to put myself or anybody else at risk. You know, I try to maintain a safe speed, and it's once I get Tremont, and then I'll go up Bluff, and then, I don't know if anybody knows about Independence. Independence is probably the steepest, nastiest hill in the city. I'll go up that hill to Oak Street. I'll go down Oak Street, which is the hill right next to Oak Tavern, and then I'll go back down Bluff, get back on Tremont, and then I'll start back on Hess, headed south, jump on Oak again, do that road, turn around at 3rd, come back up, take a right back on Hess. I'll go down, take a left, go east on Harsh, take Harsh to 27th, then 27th to Lincoln Way. 27th is one of my mains, and basically everything I'm saying right now would be considered a main in my section.
So, with that being said, you can see that as when we leave the shop, we have because of how long that we've been doing it, I should probably throw that in. I'll have 22 years in July, and you'll have
I'll have 18 years Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Um, we generally stick with the same routes because of being familiar with the area.
Yeah, and the trucks too.
And the trucks as well, because certain trucks are better in certain areas. I mean, with the downtown, if I don't know if you remember when the Interbelt actually had a small truck.
Yeah, 878. I did that when I first started.
Right, and a lot of, as the equipment changed, that actually impacted the routes and how they were done.
And the people too.
Right. So as you get a new flow of people in, and getting people trained on, one, the equipment, and two, the route, that also comes into play. And as of the past decade or so, we've had a lot of ingoing and outgoing people. So
yeah, we've a lot to retirement.
Right.
Yeah.
So that being said, to get any type of fluidness in the routes, you have to be able to keep the same people in the same equipment doing the same job. So when we switch over to plowing, that's generally a call that's made by the driver in his section. Like myself, you can get just a coating of snow, maybe an inch or so, but out by the State Highway Patrol Barracks and Lanedale, where it blows across the fields,
yeah,
instantly you're going to have a drift and you'll need a plow.
Yeah, drifting is an issue.
So things like that come into play as well. Now, something I want to add real quick. We don't make the call as far as when we come out.
No.
We can't, like, it would be nice if I looked out my window and said, man, it's snowing, and just went to work and come out. We have to wait until we're called. And we don't carry the checkbook either. Finances, up until recently, were very tight, and now things are starting to come back online slowly but surely.
Yes.
But as far as this last snow that we had, salt was an issue, and it showed itself. The size of the salt bin that we're using now is basically the same size that we were using in the mid-'80s before the annexation, and the city's about twice the size. We're taking steps now to increase the amount of salt that we can store, and another co-worker of ours is getting together numbers on an actual, I don't believe it's a dome, but it's a larger storage facility.
He when I talked to him, he said there was 2 or 3 different sizes that this company that he was looking at offered. I mean, there's 3 different sizes of prices also.
Right.
But you know, the more that we can have on hand and not have to rely on, you know, the trucking companies to deliver when we need it,
absolutely,
is really key. I mean, I guess it's a matter of opinion whether or not we need a larger one or not. In my opinion, it'd be nice to have, like I said, the salt on hand and not have to rely on the truck drivers. I mean, because these same companies, they're delivering to multiple, you know, municipalities and state, county,
right,
you know, cities throughout northeastern Ohio. I mean, they're busy. I'm sure they are.
Right. But that being said, we are starting to get better equipment. We have a very old fleet, with the exception of a few new trucks. And to kind of keep it in perspective, we have a truck that's a 1994, and it is a major player in how we do snow. Now that is changing. That condition is not permanent. But the turnaround on ordering a truck is anywhere from 90 days to 6 months, and ordering them in the spring is best. And we do have, I believe, they didn't go with the Western Star. What did they go with?
Not the internationals, the Freightliners.
Freightliners.
Yeah, we have 2 of those coming.
We have 2 Freightliners coming, and we just got a F550,
Yes.
small truck.
I drove it today. There's a couple bugs that need to be worked out of that, but very, very nice truck. Lots of power. It's going to really help our fleet out.
Right. So, with as bad as this last snow appeared and was, for the most part, there is action being taken to correct the problems. And,
Yes.
And I think that was one of the biggest reasons that we had this show tonight, was to kind of let people interact with us, the people doing it. I don't want to get into the politics and the nonsense and the name calling and this, that, and the other. We want to interact with you, the citizen, on trying to make the job better. And oh, I think we just dropped the stream. Hold on. There it goes. With interacting with the citizens and coming up with a better way of handling the, for now, the snow. If the show is well received and people want to continue doing this, then making it a regular show.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's plenty we could talk about.
absolutely, especially as we move into spring
Yeah.
and into summer. And
We do a lot of different things with the city.
yes, it's not a one-dimensional operation.
No.
So with that, I'm not.
I would also like to, let people know that, we do have 9 people in our department at this time, but they had a civil service test, and they are going to be adding a 10th employee into our department, which, goes hand in hand with them trying to get us more equipment. They're also trying to get us more help too.
Right. And maybe to touch on that a little further, with the finances, I mean, obviously there were some pretty drastic cuts made. Our department was it. It took a big, when I started with the city, there was 22 people, 23 people in the street department, and now we're down to 9. Working through that is not as easy as what it might seem.
Yeah, but I mean, anymore. I mean, when I started, my clock number was number 21. Now, that did include the mechanics, which at the time we had 3.
Yes.
And that also included our clerk dispatcher. But I think we had at the time 18. I want to say there was 18.
Yeah.
But we anymore, it just seems like normal not having 20-some people, which, when I first started in the street department, when I first started with the city, I was in the garbage department for a year. And then when I transferred, because of the overtime option, there wasn't a lot of overtime available in the garbage department, so I took the job in the street department. And I mean, back then we did a lot of different things, but there were so many people that there wasn't enough trucks for me, which, I want to say I learned a lot during the winter time riding as a passenger with guys that were there and getting ready to retire and had tons and tons of experience. I want to say we don't have that option now. If these guys come into our department, like this 10th guy they're getting ready to hire, I mean, I guess he has a CDL, but I don't know if he has any experience plowing and salting roads. I mean, he's basically just going to be thrown into the mix. Here's your truck, here's your area, this is your boundaries, go to it. I mean, I'm hoping that someday we can get back to, showing them the ins and outs of how we do things.
Real quick, we're getting I just got a message saying that he doesn't see us. So hold on a second. Let's see if we can maybe do. I don't know how to put that across. We have 8 people watching right now. Let's see. I don't know how to repost the stream. Kurt says he can see us. Nuts. Of the people watching, is the sound and stream coming through smoothly? That would be the question, because we did drop a couple times. And for people watching where you've seen Kurt's comment go into the live chat, if you have questions, that's where you ask them. I don't see. Hopefully. People, apparently, the next time I'll do it, I'll put it on Restream and put it up on both platforms. Anyway,
that's above my pay grade.
Anyway, that's what we have tonight for the department. Let's see if we can do this. Maybe. What happens if we go like this? Let's see. Try that. Maybe. You know what? That might work. Go to. Maybe they can do it there. Yeah, this is my first time having people come across platforms. Most people that watch, yeah, let's see if that works. Most people that watch are the people that are subscribed to the channel. So let's see if we go back to the dashboard. Wait, okay. Okay, now we have some comments. Yeah, now, okay, the live chat is working. But that's what we have going on in the department. Again, the questions that you have are important. So, again, don't think that there's a question that's like not worth asking.
Yeah.
Because this is a really good time. One, it's winter time. Both of us are of the living. We're not zombies. And
yeah, I mean, I had a question about why does the street department have to put the snow in front of my driveway? I mean, to me, it sounded like a really dumb question, but it really isn't. I mean, a lot of people, they don't understand. I mean, we have straight plows. We angle them so that we can take the snow from the center of the road and it goes to the curb.
Right.
I mean, can I push it straight? Yes, but it's going to bleed off both sides, and we're trying to get all the snow off of the road and to the side.
Right. We can't plow it left.
Yeah.
That won't
Yeah.
work.
Well, remember when I told you about that? Well, my truck was broke down, and I was taking calls
Yeah.
in the office, and this he had to be an older gentleman. He called because we were in the middle of a snowstorm, and he called and he says, "Why can't you guys put the snow in the center of the road instead of on the side?"
Right.
And I sort of chuckled, but I didn't want to be rude. But I was like, "Okay, sir," I said, "I'll do that." I said, "But when you leave your house, how are you going to turn left?" And there was a little short silence,
Right.
And he's like, I didn't think of it that way. I mean, to me, and to some people, it may seem like a dumb question, but hey, he's trying to figure something out.
Right. Absolutely. And I don't think, I think some of the initial reaction to how we do it doesn't make sense, and something that I might approach management with is, how you can do like a ride along with the cops.
Yes.
I think having certain citizens,
Oh,
I don't know how you would pick them,
I would love that.
and that way.
And I'd like to pick them.
Oh.
No, there's some friends of mine, that would love to come along to see
how
what's
it's
going
done.
on, and
Right.
I'm sure there's some other people in the city that would like to see how it's done, or I think it would be interesting to them.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what the insurance ramifications would be on that.
Right.
I mean,
But-
I've been pretty good for the last 8 years. I mean, since I got T-boned by that
Semi.
the semi on 21. But if you want to come take a ride with me, I never said I was a good driver.
The Tim does have the distinguished, and you can't even say that. I mean, he's lucky. We kind of kid around about it now, but I mean, if you get hit by a semi, and you're still looking at the green side of the grass, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
Somebody's looking
I
out
was
for you.
fortunate.
Yeah.
That happened during a snowstorm.
Yep. I remember that. That was different.
Mm-hmm.
But
And I'm still driving that truck today.
yes,
It's the same truck.
It's the same truck is on the road that was hit by the semi. That's
It was down for a minute, but
right. Had a little bit of front end damage.
yeah.
But with that being said, I'm not seeing any questions. Let me jump over to Facebook real quick and see if anybody's asking over there. We could open it up to, and I should have done it before I started. Remind me next time. What I'll do is I'll make a post on the virtual sounding board, and people can ask their questions there, and then when we do go live, we can scroll through them and we'll answer them that way. I'm not seeing, it says we have 10 people viewing right now, but no, any question that you have, please do ask. It's what we're trying to accomplish as far as interacting with the citizens and trying to, and you hate to say put out the fire, but there was a lot of people that were upset.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, I mean, when Josh had asked me to do this show, I was like, yeah, I want people to know, what we do, how we do it, why it takes so long. I know people get impatient, and, like Josh says, we got to work on our mains pretty much until the snow stops, and I believe that snowstorm started right around, what was it, 1:30 in the afternoon last Friday, or a week ago Friday.
Yeah.
And I think it snowed up until, like, what was it, 4 or 5 o'clock the next morning.
Right.
And I mean, it was like I said, when I start talking about the way I run my route, it'll take me a good 3 hours just to run one time through my mains and hills. I mean, I just got started explaining the way I run that route, but I didn't even get into, the hills that I take care of off of Erie, which is Maple and Edwin and Dwight and Arch
Right.
and Shriver and Pearl and
Right.
and I mean, and then some of the other streets that are considered mains, like 13th Street. I mean, Erie Street.
Right.
Erie, it takes a long time, and I want people to know, why I'm here is to let you know this is why it takes so long.
Right. And another, for instance, would be for me to clear, if say I'm plowing Lincoln Way from the top of the viaduct at 6th Street all the way out to 93, I have to do 4 passes each direction. It's 4.2 miles from the top of the viaduct to where 93 crosses. So if I have to go out and back 4 times, that's 8 trips. You're looking at
That's 32 miles.
well over 32 miles.
Yeah.
And if you're plowing, you can do the first 2 passes towards the center. You can do them a little bit faster, but at that you're probably doing what, 25-ish?
Yeah, and something else. I mean, that's if there's no traffic.
Right.
That's four passes per side if there's no traffic.
Right.
The first time you take that, if you're going to start from the center and you make that first pass,
Right.
that next lane to the right of you, has snow on it.
Right.
So now a semi comes through and he drives through it and he splashes it all over.
Right.
Or a school bus or 39 cars in a who knows,
Right.
coming through it, it splashes that back into the lane that you actually plowed, and that can happen
Right.
the whole distance
Right. So then you have to come back
and start over,
and rinse and repeat.
or you just try to take another pass to get some more of the snow off.
Right.
But even if you do the 4 passes, it's not guaranteed that it's going to be clear
Right.
because of people splashing that back into the lane.
Right. I think that might be one of the biggest misconceptions, is that you do it once and then you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's rarely ever the case.
Yeah, I seen a post where this guy was kind of trying to engineer, where he said, well, the city has roughly 175 miles, and if you're going this fast, it should take this long, but there's a lot of variables. I mean, traffic, like I said, splashing that back over, stopping, starting. I mean, there's so many things that can happen, and that's, by the time, I mean, we've seen snow where it was, an inch every minute, an inch every quarter, 15 minutes.
Right.
If it takes you 20 minutes to make that round trip,
Right.
there's going to be another inch there by the time you get
Right.
back.
Yeah, that would have been Babcock was there.
Yeah.
That was an interesting snowstorm. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We knew the snow was coming, and we were like, "Do you want us to stay here? We're getting ready to go to lunch." "Oh no, go ahead and go." And so we knew we were going to be out all night. We seen it on the radar. It was coming in. It was coming in heavy.
Right.
So you, myself, a couple other guys, we went up to Drifters
Right.
and just sat down, ordered our food, and he's on the phone. There was already
and if you remember
3 inches of snow on the ground.
when we opened the door to leave, snow was coming in the door.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in the mess right off the bat that time.
Sure. But that's something else I want to touch on too, real quick. Like with townships, and other areas, they get help from the county and the state.
Yeah, because they're not a city.
Right. We're incorporated, and like 21 we take care of between
Yes.
the city limits, and 172.
Yeah, we take care of 21 from that cul-de-sac or the turnaround just north of Lake,
Yeah.
all the way down to Navarre Road.
Yeah.
And I want to say that's close to, it's got to be over 5 miles.
Yeah. Easy. And then Lincoln Way from 27th Street out by Burger King all the way to 93.
You know, like I said, I know for a fact because I drove it one time and measured it. It's 6.4 miles.
Right. One way.
One way.
Yeah. So that's a lot of real estate. And
Yes.
so what I was getting at is a lot of people, they'll compare the townships to Massillon, but the townships do get a lot of help from the county and the state.
Yeah, and they're smaller.
Yes. They don't have the mileage to take care of.
No.
So,
Jackson, Perry, Lawrence Township, they're all smaller than what Massillon has as far as miles of road.
right.
I mean, and that guy, he was talking about, you know, curb to curb miles, if you use the measure of each road, but that doesn't include the lane miles.
Right.
I mean, there could be close to 500 lane miles.
Oh, easy.
I mean, you know,
I mean, how many passes do you have to make on Hess?
oh,
People don't.
a bunch.
Yeah, a bunch. But yeah, lane miles. That would be something to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, some roads, I mean, and when we talk lanes, we're not just talking traveling lanes. A parking lane is something that we have to clear.
Yes.
The parking lane is a lane.
Right.
You know, if you look at Lincoln Way, just downtown,
Yeah.
there's 2 lanes headed east, two lanes headed west. You have a left turn lane and a parking lane on each side of the road.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think each lane is 12 feet wide. Is it 12?
I believe so. Yeah.
So 12 times, what is that? 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how wide the street is.
Right.
7 times 12.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
yeah. And when you start to put all of it together, like I said, I that's one of the reasons I think doing a ride along of
Yeah.
some type
Right.
would be best. That way, explaining it's one thing, but when they actually see it,
Mm-hmm.
the last thing that I do want to touch on is dead ends and cul-de-sacs.
Yeah.
With dead ends and cul-de-sacs, up until recently, we were doing that with pretty much exclusively big trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that these people are being picked on in any way. Dead ends and cul-de-sacs get done last.
Yes. Because it takes so long.
Right.
I mean, some of the cul-de-sacs are so huge. And then if you have to deal with garbage cans in the road, the basketball hoop next to the you know, we can't put the snow in front of mailboxes. We can't put the snow in front of somebody's driveway. You know, if we got to maneuver around a car, there's a lot of backing up to do.
Right.
I mean, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. And with that being said, if you live on a cul-de-sac, the only place that we can put that snow is between the driveways. So some people want to come out and park
Right.
on the circle, and that makes things tenfold slower.
Yes.
I mean, you run out of places quickly to put the snow.
Yeah, I got the one straight up on the southeast side, and it seems like everybody parks on the road up there.
Right.
You know, that's Green Tree. I mean, I go down, I sort of salt it a little bit because there's really nowhere for me to put the snow.
Right.
And then I plow just the road coming in and out.
Right.
But, you know, I want to plow that because they got to come out of their driveway too.
Sure.
Makes it, I mean, it's just like coming out on the street.
Right.
But, man, if there's nowhere for me to put the snow, I don't want to pile it up next to someone's house or their car to where they got to dig themselves out. It's, yeah, cul-de-sacs. And what was it? I mean, some areas have more
Yeah, absolutely.
dead ends and cul-de-sacs. I think your section in Northwest Side was
either
it 50 some?
48 or 51. I can't remember which.
50 some dead ends and cul-de-sacs.
Yeah. So at that, if you look at 5 to 10 minutes a piece,
Yeah.
I mean,
You're talking hours
hours, right?
and hours.
And again, I think that would be a benefit of doing a ride along, so people could actually see.
Yeah.
You know, if you come to a cul-de-sac and let's say it has one car parked and a basketball hoop.
You know, you can't leave out the garbage cans.
Right.
75% of the people in the city leave their garbage cans on the road.
Right. And again, there's only so many places in those areas that you can put the snow.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to kind of add to that with the dead ends and cul-de-sacs is the parking ban. I think that was an area where we got kind of caught with our pants down, per se. There is parking bans posted
In some areas, yeah.
in some areas, and if we could mind those signs, I mean, because if you're parked there and the snow builds up and we go around you, and then say the next day your car's moved or whatnot, and we come through, we're gonna put that snow to the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, if we're there, we see it.
Right, and generally what happens is somebody's going to be upset because it ends up, because you're pushing it to the right, it's going to go into somebody's driveway.
That they already shoveled out.
Right. And it's almost a situation where you're better off just waiting until we're done, because some people do, I think they don't realize they're doing it until it's too late, and then they move. If they just would have parked in their driveway to begin with,
Right.
it would have made things way easier.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not that, and I think there's a perception out there that we go around trying to plow people in. And
No, that's not it.
and that's not the case.
We're just trying to clear the roads.
Right. And we have to push it to the right.
Well,
So-
I've had people, it's happened here recently, where the guy stood in front of one of our coworkers' truck.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen in this snow, but
Right.
it was just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know, and he wouldn't move, and our coworker's like, "Hey, you know, you need to move out of the way." And the guy got so upset with him, started cussing at him.
Right. Yeah, we've had a couple incidences where we're not, the work that we're doing is not personal
No.
towards other people. We're we're simply trying to clear the snow off the roads.
We're not trying to make it hard on anybody at all.
So I don't have anything else. Do you?
I mean, how about, gang plowing?
Gang plowing. Okay.
You know, once in a while, I don't know if you've ever seen it. Gang plowing is when we'll stack, especially on the larger roads like I was talking about downtown Massillon, how it's so wide. We'll get, 4 or 5 trucks. We'll have one out front taking the center out. He'll take the snow to the right. That guy will take that and pass it off to the next guy that's behind him until we get to the curb. That way we clear the entire side at one time, so that we're not worried about people splashing that snow back into the lane like I was telling you about. It takes some manpower, but it's a very, very fast way for us to clear, say, Lincoln Way for those 6.4 miles, or Hess, or 241, which I'm talking about Finney Frock, because that's a really wide road also.
Yes.
You know, with the trucks coming in and out from that pipe yard, you know, that's a pretty busy road. So for us to be able to do that, you know, and when we're doing that, we try to stick together and we don't go real fast.
Right.
Because we don't want to lose each other. Because just as soon as somebody catches a light, you know, somebody will come in.
Right.
You know, a car will turn on, or we're going too slow and we're in their way and they're trying to get around us. I mean, we're not trying to be a burden. We're just trying to clear the road.
Right. Hold on a second. Okay. You don't have to be on Facebook to ask a question. The link's up. I just got a private message. Hold on a second. I posted, if for those watching, I reposted a link on the virtual sounding board and on Facebook. If for future episodes of this, if you do make it to the YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button along with the bell, every time this show comes up, they're going to send you a notification. So I'm trying to see. We did cover the parking ban.
Yeah, I mean, during a snowstorm, anything that the public can get off of the street just speeds up the process for us.
Right.
You know, the basketball hoops, one of my biggest pet peeves. I mean, I've never during the wintertime have seen a kid, an adult, or anybody shooting hoops in these basketball hoops on the side of the road. My issue with them is I can't get close enough. Right. Because that basketball rim will hit the mirror on my truck if I get too close.
Yeah.
And then I gotta get out of my truck, make an adjustment on the mirror, get back in my truck, because I mean, you know, the blind spots in these trucks are ridiculous.
Right.
I need to be able to see out of my mirrors, and if they're not set right, I won't move until I have them fixed.
Right.
And it happens. We hit tree branches.
Right.
Big menace. We hit those basketball rims. I mean, I understand, and it's been discussed. Some people don't have the luxury of parking in a driveway.
Right.
But if you do, please,
right,
just, you know, get your car off the road. It will speed up the process for us tremendously. And the garbage cans. Put the garbage can on the tree lawn. Put the garbage can on the sidewalk. I mean, the street is just not a place for it, because I have to slow way down so that I don't hit it, or the snow doesn't knock it over, and then we got trash all over the road.
Right.
You know, and that's really what I'm trying to do. If I knew that thing was empty,
right,
I might just launch it back up into your yard. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Right. I haven't done that. But I have hit some on accident, or I have knocked them over, you know, when we've had heavy snow.
Heavy snow, right. I have my phone sitting here. I'm getting a couple of questions through some other forms of social media. You can, anywhere that you see O'Malley's Adventure and that Fallout Shelter sign, you can ask questions through there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. The comments section is open, the live chat. All you have to do is click there, you type your question, and we will get to it. I think that's it. I do believe that's it. I'm not sure if everybody got on. We got 12. What we've been up for 54 minutes. So,
No questions?
nope. Someone posted something and then it said message retracted, and I didn't get to see what it was. So, the only question I had was,
Well, hopefully
about
we
the
answered some
part-
questions.
I think we probably did. I'm almost sure that we did. But again, you know what? If for some reason you want to ask something and you do not want to leave your comment on the Facebook Live, I do have my Facebook Messenger up, and if you want your name to remain anonymous, you can ask me there. We're not looking to throw people under the bus. We're here to answer questions. So, I don't know, what do you think? The first Monday of the month, do something like this?
I mean, I'd like to. I mean, I can't. I mean, I give you a better idea. I mean, I'm notorious for making plans when I already have plans, and I have to check with my wife. You know, I've done that to her, and she don't like that for some reason.
No, it doesn't fly.
We were supposed to go here.
Whoops.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah. Whoops. What's an oops?
Was you talking to me when I was watching TV? I'll bet you that's when you told me we were going to do that.
Alrighty. If you don't have anything else, I don't have anything else.
I just want to, thank you for having me on your show, and I hope that this was informative. I mean, I like I said, I really want people to know what we're up against.
Right. And for those people that are watching, I'm going to repost the link. This will save on my YouTube channel. So if for some reason you missed it or missed parts of it, you can come back and watch the whole thing. Don't forget, even after the video's up, if you post things in the comments section or you hit me up on any of the social medias, I will try to answer your questions as best I can, or I'll hold them till the next time we go live, and we'll do it then, because chances are somebody else might have the same question, and instead of answering the same question 100 times, we'll just answer it once for everybody. So that is a wrap. I don't think, we'll wait. I'll post something maybe at the end of the week on the next time we're going to do a show. We'll hammer out a time and make sure that nobody has plans, because this type thing in this time of year is kind of hard to schedule, where Ohio weather is not exactly predictable. So if you don't have anything and I don't have
that's something I tell my wife, it's hard to plan things at this time of the year, because I want to say one more thing. When we do get called out, the 9 of us, it hasn't been any problems getting the people, the guys in our department, and we work hard. I mean, to get them to come out and put in the long hours, so, and I said it before, I'd put the Massillon Street Department up against any other municipal street department in the area. I mean, the amount of work that we do, I would probably break some of those other guys in those other municipalities.
Yep. Just by sheer load.
Yeah.
So, alrighty, we're gonna break it at just under the 1 hour mark. We're at 50-some minutes. So, that's all I have. That's all he has. And stay tuned. We are for sure gonna do this at least one more time. So, until next time, stay sharp, keep a tight shot, group, and rock on.